Hey everyone, on this episode of The Broker Link, we are sitting down with Rita Garza of Skyview Insurance down in the Corpus Christi Valley area of Texas. She's going to be talking all about cross-selling, sharing some of her experience, and inspiring you to do the same. Stay tuned. Miss Rita, thanks for joining us today. Why don't we start off learning a little bit about you? Tell us how you got into the industry and a little bit how your business has grown.
Okay, well, my name is Rita Garza, and the reason I got in the industry was because my husband actually was already selling life insurance, and he was also selling cancer, heart attack, critical care plans. And in my history, my experience, I worked in doctors' offices for over 18 years, and so I knew that side of the benefit structure, and I was used to speaking with clients, and I became very friendly with them, open conversation, because, when you're in the medical offices, you have to be real fluid when you're speaking with these people and get, not be shy about talking to them because it's serious. Their medical conditions and the fact that they needed benefits. That was something that I did every day in the doctor's offices. And so my husband, he knew how I cared about that. And so he told me, I think it'd be a good idea if you try to get your license and maybe try this side of the medical aspect on benefits. So
Very cool.
so later on we decided to, I got my license back in 2012, and in 2017 we decided to open an agency so that we can, take care of the clients, really people walking in and being able to service them.
2017, and you guys have had some crazy growth, am I right? What is it, 4 years
Yeah.
now? I guess that would be.
It's going on that, yeah. So we're pretty excited about it, and we've gotten a lot of referral bases. But we've been branding our name here in the Coastal Bend area, and so a lot of people are word of mouth, how we treat them. It's really coming in. I think it's multiplied at least 3 times. So we're real happy about that. Each year it's gotten better and better.
Wow. Well, super happy for you. That's awesome, and that's a testament to when you do the right thing for people, um, things work out. It's like if you focus on just the money, okay, maybe it comes and maybe it doesn't. But if you focus on the people, the money will come.
Yes, that's what I always tell. When you start worrying about money, you're thinking, well, let's just follow the rules, do right by the client. It's not about my financial goals, and that's what we're trained when we do our certifications is to really, focus on the client's goals, both doctor goals and benefit goals to help them with their lives, to maintain their lives and to better their, chances of living more. So yeah, it's really good. We love it.
Awesome. So the topic today, we're talking about cross-selling. I know you are very, very an advocate of doing that. Talk to us a little bit about how has cross-selling impacted y'all's business? How has it impacted your client retention? Maybe speak to that.
Okay. So when we do like an analysis of what each client needs, I mean, we kind of do that in our heads first, because if we bombard the client with too many products, it scares them away. Right now, we do a lot of ACA, Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, there's different names for it. And a lot of people financially are strapped. So many of them are afraid to pick a bronze plan over a silver plan. They both have huge deductibles between $7,000 and $8,000. Even the doctor visits don't require a deductible. So I encourage them. I said, if you can't afford a silver plan, if halfway through the year, you don't know what your money is going to look like, it's better to probably pick a bronze plan with a zero premium if they qualify for that subsidy. But I also tell them, but don't be afraid of that huge deductible, because usually when you meet those type of deductibles, it's going to be because of something catastrophic happening to you, whether it's heart attack, cancer, or stroke. And so when that happens, be prepared with an indemnity plan or a supplement plan, if you will, like something like Aflac, but it's for individuals. So we have products that, the client can pick as an individual and pay, depending on their age and circumstance, $40, $50, $60 a month. So rather than pay another $100 or $200 for a silver plan they can't afford because the deductible is going to go down by 1,000, which doesn't help, it's important to show them those supplement plans that cover critical care. So then we bundle that. So that's the first step. So they pick the zero plan, they pick a critical care plan, and they're at $60 at the most sometimes, depending on age. And then they're like, well, what about dental and vision? And then I always let them know, well, you can pick the one, if there's one attached to your Obamacare plan, you can pick that. But then let's say next year your plan, you decide to change your plan. Well, you can't keep your plan and your dental plan. You can't keep one or the other. You got to switch everything together. And many people like to keep their dental plan going through the years, right? So then we start talking about a dental plan or a vision plan, because those are things that they don't have to change every year. They can just keep paying them. They like them. Maybe they've, accomplished their waiting periods on them and now they can use them. So then it translates into that. That's the average Obamacare client visit. It's about Obamacare, it's about the supplement and dental and vision. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
I have a menu that I keep on the side of my desk here on the wall, and it has a menu of everything we do. And so while they're sitting here going through the interview, they have their own monitor to see my screen. And a lot of them are looking at that. I'm looking at it right now. It's huge. It says Skyview, and then it's got what services we provide. So then they're all, well, y'all do life insurance too. So on their own, it's not a bombardment of, giving them all these products, but they're easing into what we're talking about and they need it all and it's affordable. But then they also say, oh, I don't have that. I lost my job, or something like that. So I love that aspect of how to do it.
I love it. So it sounds like it sounds like you do it from the first point of sale. This is how you present the products, whether that be ACA or Medicare. You start with okay, do you have like a fact sheet or something, or like a form? I guess you go through like, okay, step 1, here's your main coverage. Okay, step 2, here's some of the exposure. Are you worried about that? Maybe give us a walkthrough of like, let's say I'm a client, and let's use ACA. Let's say I'm eligible for ACA. Maybe walk me through what that would look like as a hypothetical.
Okay, so I have an intake sheet and I use that intake sheet for every client, whether they're coming in for Medicare or Obamacare, whatever. That intake sheet's valuable to me because I put all their pertinent data, but I also put every single note that I have. So if they're telling me they're just moving, they just lost somebody in their life or something's happened, something drastic has happened, it's in those notes. So you want to keep that for every client, first of all. But then you'd sit down in front of me. And like I said, there's a screen there. And so I'm showing you, I said, what I see on my screen is what you see. So if you know your information better than me. So if I'm making an error, feel free to call out and say, hey, you missed a letter on my email address or something like that. And they love that because I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm far from it. But I want them to see that I care about putting every detail in. So they'll sit here and we'll talk and I'll tell them I'm not a nosy person, but when it comes to Obamacare, I'm going to be nosy because I'm trying to help you, right? A lot of people will let you know when that their income went up, when they're doing their taxes the following year. So I tell them, first of all, you need to let me be made aware of your income each month, or every quarter. That way we can adjust it as necessary. And if your premium goes up, then you can pay it as you go, not when you're doing your taxes, have to pay $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. So again, they feel like I care about them. Then I also let you know that, I'm going to answer the questions you don't know to ask, so you want to be informative to them. When they walk in, they don't feel like a stranger. They feel like family. That's important. You want to smile with them. You want to tell them you care about them. You're going to worry about them. They start to trust you on the foundation of that. And, don't be afraid to say, I'm here to help you. No question is dumb. You need to talk to me and tell me what you're thinking. And if you don't like a question or don't understand, then, just holler at me, tell me, say, hey, Rita, you said something, can you back up a little bit or slow down? Because I talk fast. So we have to keep slowing down for them because we know this information every day. They don't. So we have to really stop and say, did you understand that? So double check on that. As we're talking, we're also asking them, who is your doctors? What's your medication you're taking? It's not just applies to a Medicare client, it applies to everybody. Because in that you're learning about their chronic illnesses and if they have those coverages. And so then I also give them a copy of my sheet, my intake sheet that has all my notes and has their pertinent information. So they see what I've kept from them. I also give them a folder. I give them a folder with my phone number and my name printed on the front of it. And I tell them this is an empty folder. It has my business card And any information that you get that you want to discuss with me in the mail, or maybe something you printed out, keep it in the folder. Call me, make an appointment to talk to me. We do Zoom, face to face. We do very little face to face right now, especially because of COVID. But then we also do phone appointments. So we're really trying to, be real flexible for each client and make them feel comfortable. And then when they're done, we also print out a copy of their benefit sheet, maybe a summary benefit sheet. And this way they feel like, wow, she's not just telling me what I have, she's giving me evidence that I can check back. So those folders are really important, because when they call you and ask you questions, you tell them, you still have that folder I gave you? Remember that sheet I put in there? Can you turn to that sheet? Let's talk about the second paragraph. And they're like, wow, why do you care so much? And I go, because I want to be treated that way. I want somebody to inform me and to, answer their phone after the call. Very important customer service. And so we offer free customer service to you as well. We don't have to be your agent to talk to you. And we want you to bring in your life insurance policies, even if you love them. Not so we can change them, but so we can define them. So we can see if they're a 20 or 30 year, note, right? Or 20 or 30 year term. And then if it's a 20 or 30 year term and it ended 5 years ago, guess what? They don't even have insurance anymore, and they thought they did. So they're like, wow, I'm so glad you told me that. Like, there's always these sighs of relief, right? Because they feel like, wow, if I hadn't been told this, I wouldn't have insurance, or I wouldn't have benefit. So we really try to, get to the root of things and make them feel like we care about them like family. And you're right, it's not about worrying about the money. It's not, because so many clients, they'll leave here and tell 2 or 3 people. And I'm not kidding. During open enrollment, I probably got 35, 45 calls a day. And that a lot of that was customer service. And so I stayed an extra 2 or 3 hours just to return calls, because they were so desperate. I think I left here 11:30, 12 o'clock at night during those last weeks. And it was a little crazy, but it was like, I felt so bad. I went to bed thinking, who did I forget to call? I felt so bad. But pretty much, I think I got everybody. So I was really, really proud of that.
That's awesome. Wow. And that's the fruit of, once again, doing the right thing. And then that just kind of starts to compound and compound. And the more people that you're helping, the more people that appreciated what you've done, it just grows and grows and grows. And now you're staying till midnight trying to get it done.
Do it. When I talk to my agents here, they're also cross-selling now, and I'm so proud of them because they're doing so well. And I tell them, they said, why do you spend so much time talking to these clients? And I said, well, you got to think about it like a science project, right? At school, when your kids get a science project, all parents are like, oh my God, a science project. But every case that comes in can be complex. So it's not a 10-minute visit with the client. It's 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour and a half sometimes. But it all returns to you, whether you're helping them with life, critical care, whatever. They say, she didn't rush me through the appointment. They all will tell you that. If you call my clients, they'll say, Rita doesn't rush me through the appointment. Rita, it's important that you have to put your name in there. Whether your name is Don or John or Sally or Cindy, just say, do I put the client first? Do I call them back? Do they feel like I've given them the time that they need? And have I offered them all these plans? Now, I did have a client, I had a real life experience a couple of years ago and this is why I guess I pushed myself even more to do cross-selling, is because she came in for a Medicare plan. I'm turning 65 in 2 months. Great, let's do that. But for 2 months, I won't have insurance. Well, great, let's do short-term. She's like, okay. And I said, now your short-term has a $10,000 deductible, right? And it doesn't cover pre-existing. And then you have to pay 20% of the difference of something that happens. And I said, so let's talk about, a critical care plan, just so you'll know what the cost is. And so if something happens between now and the 2 months before you get on that Medicare plan, you're covered. Well, she declined. I think her quote was $60. She declined and said, you know what, that's okay. I've got money in the bank. But why would you want to spend that money in the bank, right? Anyway, I didn't, pressure her or anything else. Just let you know it's available. So that was like the end of a June, I believe. July 13th, I get a call at 8:30 at night. Okay. And it's her husband. He says, I'm at Doctors Regional. My wife is here. We're in the emergency room. She came in with flu symptoms and is having a heart attack. So that night, I went over there and I took him copies of the temporary card because he had left them at home. So all the way over there, I just wanted to cry because I felt like I told her to spend $60, for heart attack, cancer, stroke plan. Had she spent that $60, she would have gotten 10,000 or 20,000 back from that, critical care supplement plan. And after that, the next week, he came in and he was like, well, she's on Berlinta now. Of course, that's expensive. So that critical care plan could have paid for the Berlinta too, because that was over $400. And so after that, I saw that happen. I was like, you know what? It's even more important now to inform everybody that we do have these extra cross-selling products that would help, especially in a situation like hers. And in that visit, I offered 3 products, right? I offered the critical care and the Medicare plan and the short term. So that's cross-selling right there. It's a perfect example of why we need to do it. So now I do it a lot. I may not have time, but I make sure that there's an agent here who can do it. And then I pass it on to that agent. And I said, here, this person needs quotes for critical care. And then usually they'll sell it, but it stays within, the brokerage Inc. Family of selling. So we can all help each other. And more business keeps coming in no matter what, because they feel like the family arrangement is here.
Wow. That's pretty powerful stuff. And I think a lot of brokers, I know a lot of people take the attitude of, it's more stuff to learn, what difference does it make? But take the example that Rita just gave of, let's imagine the flip side. Let's imagine that you had not even talked to her about it, right? She made the decision not to do it, but you did the right thing by presenting it to her. Now, let's think about your clients that are on, let's say, a Medicare Advantage plan, and they've got some gaps with that max out of pocket. That's just for an example. And you've told them, oh, this is going to financially protect you because there's a max out of pocket. But your client may not have that $5,000 sitting in the bank if they need to use it. Well, if you don't tell them about this, you can't help them. And all you have to do is ask. That's all you have to do. And if you don't, I don't know. It's like, it's not necessarily that it's like on your shoulders, but maybe maybe agents should take that approach of like, hey, it is my job to present these products.
And if you're looking for that bottom line of money, because there's a lot of people who come into this business looking for that money, which is normal. We all got to make a living. There's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But if you're not doing that, that's why you're not seeing the money, because it's the little things that also is part of the gimme. You always have to, have something that brings that client in to see, for them to see who you are and what you have to offer. And they love you. If you're doing this, they feel like a connection with you. I know when I had a jewelry business, I used to fix little fashion jewelry, like missing little crystals and things like that years ago. And my mom would always say, why are you fixing that ring for 50 cents or $1? And I had a lot of fashion jewelry and I would make crystal jewelry and I loved it. It was so therapeutic for me. Sorry, I know it's off the subject. But I told her, I said, those clients eventually, after 10 years in that business, would come in and buy more things and expensive things. They trusted me to fix their jewelry. They'd come in for that 50-cent repair, and many of them would walk out spending $300 to $500. So you've got to do the little things. If you're going to be a notary, that's nothing. That doesn't cost anything, but that's a free commercial, because I do notary here also. And people have walked in and said, is there a notary here? I saw a flag outside. Yes, I do notary. And it's $6. Oh, okay. $6 isn't, okay, there's no money there. We can't think like that. They sit there and they say, I say, oh, by the way, do you know what we do here? And I've gotten a lot of business from that, because they're like, I didn't have any idea. I was just coming here for notary. Didn't know you did all this. Life insurance, dental, vision. Sometimes they walk out with a vision plan for $11 with United Healthcare. And then they send somebody else and they do life there. So it just kind of, ricochets back in a good way. So if you're looking for that bottom line, try to do everything. It doesn't mean you have to, know everything. You have to learn it eventually. The brokerage is there. There's a lot of help. When we are like, at a loss for an idea of what we're doing, we call the brokerage. There's lots of people there that have great resources and they teach you. So we're not on our own. We tell them, look, this is what we want to do. And then we go to those trainings. Maybe they're recorded on the Brokerage Inc. or, or maybe we just talk to somebody there, but you can do it eventually, but start doing something little by little. Get good at one thing at a time and then build your bridge.
Yeah, that probably brings me to the last question. Let's say I'm an agent and I'm intrigued. Obviously, it might be a little overwhelming to just start with everything. So where would you recommend I start if I want to begin this cross-selling process?
Well, first, get really good at what you're doing. So a lot of clients will say, Rita, I want to sell Medicare. Let me get appointed with all of them. And I tell them, why don't you just get started with one? Don't go crazy getting appointed with one of them. They all are just different colors, but the same shape. So one Medicare plan is probably no different from another, right? They just have different benefit monies. But I tell them, get very good at what you're doing, be comfortable with it, and then say, okay, I'm good with this now. Let me go ahead and take AHIP. Let me go ahead and get appointed with the other ones, and kind of branch to the next section, which maybe will be life. And I tell them, if you have an agent that's really good at life in your agency and they're willing to teach you, which we do here at Skyview, what we tell the agents is get appointed with these three top carriers and just get the license and get appointed and then bring the client here. That client is still your client, but the person who does or is our expert in our office with life insurance is Lewis, my husband. And so he'll sit down and do the presentation with the agent and the client, and then they learn from him. And so then they're like, wow, that was so easy. I think I want to learn more. Let me bring another client. And eventually you take the training wheels off and they're able to ride the bike on their own. Yeah, that's going to happen. But we all have to be willing in an agency to be present as much as we can at the office, because we are the family members of each agent, and we shouldn't hesitate to help a brand new agent to get proficient at what they do. It's exciting for them. It's a challenge. And then they transcend into that. And so then we tell them, okay, so you're ready to do Obamacare now? Last year you did really good with Medicare and life insurance. How about Obamacare or ACA, Affordable Care Act? So then we start getting them certified with that. And then again, they can see the clients here with us, or we can get on a Zoom as a 3 people on a Zoom, me, the agent, and the client. And then we can show them how we present it and help them. So, and again, you have to be willing as an agent manager to help these new agents that come on board, because they're ready and willing, but you can't leave them alone. They're not going to feel comfortable and they're not going to progress. And no one will benefit from that. We all benefit from each other.
Absolutely. And Rita, are you taking in new agents to your agency right now? Are you recruiting at all, or you at capacity?
I am. I actually just got 3 new ones, Debbie, Pat, and Miriam, and we're real excited. And a lot of them are bilingual. I'm kind of bilingual. We laugh most of the time when I'm speaking Spanish, but they're bilingual. They're able to speak Spanish, which is wonderful, because a lot of people come in here and they're looking for an agent. And if you don't have at least some of that bilingual ability, you might lose some of those dollars you're looking for. So it's important to learn that too. But yes, I am recruiting. I do want people to call me. We do want people who are self-starters, but at the same time, we are here. We've had agents for 3 years that still call us for help. And we never say 3 years. I mean, you should have known this by now. It's like, what can I do? What can I do? And people see us like that. Be transparent for them and be available to them. I think, we all benefit. We can't help but all benefit from helping each other.
Yeah. So if you're an agent, we definitely want to, Rita has shared her time and her expertise. And so we want to return the favor. And if you're an agent and you're looking for a partner, especially down in South Texas, right? That's kind of y'all's territory. Where can they reach you?
We have a website, skyviewcares.com, cares with an S at the end of it. I'm sorry, that's my phone. Skyviewcares.com, or they can contact me at 361-816-5111. That's my cell number. Or Rita at skyviewcares.com is my email. I'll be glad to help you.
Awesome. Well, guys, I think to summarize this, I think you've heard an example of an agency that has just seen phenomenal growth, and a lot of it has had to do with this fully fledged broker approach, where you're not just an order taker, you're not just somebody who fills out an application, you're a true expert who walks your client from beginning to end and figures out all their needs and helps them to get the best coverage. That's what we all should be here to do. And hopefully you got some practical advice here today, and you can apply it to your business in 2021. All right, everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of The Broker Link, and we will see you next week.